Welcome to Mystery of the Soul. I'm your co-host Leo, a psychic medium, a Reiki master, an EFT tapping practitioner, and a shaman. I'm joined by my good friend Julia, a doctor of physical therapy, yoga instructor, and Reiki master. Our podcast explores the depth of the soul, the spiritual, and the supernatural. Hi guys, welcome back to Mystery of the Soul. This is Leo, and I have Julia with me here again today.
Hi, guys.
Before we forget, just a reminder, if you love what we're doing and you want to follow, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us, and share if you feel that someone could benefit from any of the messages. So today we have Amanda Bartlett here with us today. So Amanda, I'm just going to turn it over to you and introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about like what you do.
So I wear a few different hats. One of them is as a pediatric occupational therapist. I work with families who have some concerns about their children meeting their developmental milestones, with either their fine motor, visual motor skills, or with self-care skills like potty training, or self-care skills like showering and doing things that that everybody does in order to get out the door on time and function in their lives. And I also, within that, incorporate emotional freedom technique and dancing and yoga, because I'm a children's yoga teacher as well. And I also, on the side, I have a business where I integrate various energy healing modalities like Reiki, which I can do long distance, along with emotion code and now channeled songs, which are sometimes more like vocalizations, but they're often a combination of vocalizations, songs that I've heard, and words that come through me through spirit, um, and deliver messages of positive affirmation.
Nice.
And the results are that clients feel more connected to their hearts. Um, they, some people have lost weight, some people have um, just felt really inspired to be kind to others, whereas before they might have talked themselves out of doing things for other people before. Um, yeah, so it's been a really cool experience and journey.
I'm going to start right in with questions, Amanda.
Sure.
You describe yourself as a co-creatress of divine healing. What did your spiritual awakening look like? And when did you begin to realize that that was who you truly are?
So, it's been a long journey, I would say. Part of my story is that my father transitioned to spirit when I was 12, and it was very unexpected. And so I went through a different developmental progression, I guess, than most people do. A little bit of a different experience, which, as somebody who was already sensitive and already kind of a little bit more tuned in to um, my emotions than most people, that led me on a journey both inward and in finding my purpose, that I wanted to be really intentional about what I did with my life. So that led me to pursue occupational therapy, so that I could use creativity in order to give back to people and help people. But it also led me to yoga because I struggled with my attention. And yoga was one of the things that really helped me get through all of the most challenging, courses and to finish my degree. Um, and then from there, I just kind of followed, I guess, my intuition a little bit, but also, um, I guess I would say in 2016, I was working in the Salem schools and I was given an opportunity that came about through a major change in the way the Salem schools were running, where I was kind of stretched very thin as an OT. I was responsible for delivering OT services to 3 different schools in Salem.
Oh,
And you can imagine how many teachers, how many kids. I mean, I don't remember exactly the numbers, but it was a lot for me as a sensitive person to kind of take it all in, and try to be functional and help the kids meet their goals and show up on time for all these IEP meetings. And it felt like being needing to be in 2 places at once or 3 places at once sometimes. Um, and um, they gave me the opportunity to do a presentation for the teachers in one of the schools where the teachers were being told that if they didn't bring up test scores in this kind of low socioeconomic status school within a certain amount of time, their jobs would be eliminated. So the teachers were given these really unrealistic expectations. And then some of them were projecting all of their own inner wounding onto me because I was like supposed to help them help their kids learn. And they didn't think I could really help them, I guess, because of their own limiting beliefs. But so one of my supervisors at the time, in a very non-trauma sensitive way, said to me, "Everybody wants to throw you under the bus, Amanda. So you've got to do a presentation for them and show them the brain gym exercise obstacle course that you set up in the hallway." And I'm like, "Oh, great. That sounds like so much fun." Like, so I emailed the principal and said, "I would love to do a presentation for the teachers and show them why kids need to move in order to learn." And some of the storylines in my mind were pairing up really well with some of the feedback I'd received from some of the teachers who were very much in need of learning these exercises and why they worked, and had some very strong beliefs about why they wouldn't work. Like one of them had said to me when I offered her a move and sit cushion for one of her kids, or maybe some brain gym exercises before the presentation came about, she had said to me, "You do what you do, and I'll do what I do. Like, this is my classroom. You can come and you can do your work with the kids and like just kind of do your thing and then go away." Like, I don't want, that was the impression that I got, was like, do your thing and then go away and fix my kids so that they'll learn. Um, and so I showed up to that presentation after doing a lot of inner work. Like I did put a PowerPoint presentation together and I knew that there were certain things that I was teaching to them, such as chair yoga for kids, it was a stress buster moves. There was a stress buster moves routine that I had been doing for years, and there was also brain gym, and we did a little bit of coordinating the brain gym with a song that was kind of catchy and fun to move to. But I had all of these different parts of myself that I had never met, that I had never integrated in all of the years of going to a therapist. I had never met some of these parts of myself that were coming up for me to integrate. And one of them I met through doing this work with what I would say is the inner critic that all of us have. And my inner critic said, "This is all your fault," in the middle of the night one night, right before this presentation. And I was like, "Really?" And I said, "So you mean like everything?" And she was like, "You were too mean." And I was like, "Really? Even my dad? Like, that was my fault?" Because he was in a bicycle accident, and that's how his transition happened. I was nowhere near him. And so I recognized that that was something that was needing to be integrated. And when I felt the feelings associated with that guilt, um, what came through was my ability to hear his voice. And he said to me, "I'm still here." And I felt like his presence was around me. It was almost like a warm blanket or something like around me, energy wise. And so I trusted it. And I kind of allowed myself to take it in. And then I walked over to my computer screen in the middle of the night. And on Facebook, one of my favorite musicians, who was this chant artist named David Newman, was singing. He was releasing a new album, and it was part of a project that he was involved with many, many different artists like Donna Delore and um, others who I don't know what their names were. But what I first noticed that caught my attention was this dancing gorilla on my Facebook feed. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's my dad." Because my dad used to show us videos or like nature, like we would watch like National Geographic shows. And whenever a gorilla or monkey would be on TV, he would say, "Look, there's Amanda Monkey," or "There's Gabriel Monkey." That's my brother. And I was like, "Holy moly, like that is my dad's way of communicating with me." And then, um, then the lyrics came through, and it was, "Cry thunder above, below, or under. You can count on me." And all the lyrics were just about like, no matter where you are and what you're doing with your life, where you're living, whether you're living in a ditch or where you're, if you're living like in a beautiful mansion, like I am right there with you. And it just really opened my eyes to this whole other world that I had longed to connect with, but didn't know how. And yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can have a follow-up question because you kind of, it's, I think, a nice segue. How did that moment, that experience where after all of those years that you with on your own without having a medium there, how did that moment of like getting such a clear message from your dad, how did that change your understanding of death? Like how did that shift things for you when you got that message like yourself?
Um, it shifted things in that I felt much more powerful. I felt much more like empowered and thinking, wow, no matter what I go through in my life, I don't have to actually pay somebody to like connect with him. I can do this on my own, even if I'm like in a crisis.
Mm,
So it was really empowering. And I already had the awareness that life goes on after death. Like for me, that was not, that
yeah.
just wasn't, that was just like the reality that I was living in already. Um,
How long had you known that? Like when's the first time that you knew like this isn't it? Like life goes on after death?
I think I had been aware of it since my teens when I had read a book. I remember reading a book and
Yeah.
it was about like somebody's near death experience. And I was like, there's proof that like, yeah, I was like, that's, I think it was in my teens and early, even preteens, I think, because my dad had actually given me some books that were spiritual and
Mm.
they were spiritual books and they kind of started to go into that realm of um I don't exactly remember, but it was like right around that time. Yeah. So for a while, because
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s now. And yeah, it opened up just like a whole other it opened up more confidence in myself as well because going through that process and then also I used emotional freedom technique
Hmm.
to also kind of prepare myself for the presentation. And um, what happened during that presentation was I went from seeing myself as somebody who would either laugh or cry in front of a group of people um, to somebody that had the potential to teach people things that they might want to learn. Because some of my biggest critics at, from that presentation ended up um, asking me for more. Like, oh, one of them said like a couple weeks later, so hey Amanda, can you give me some more of those brain gym exercises? Or can you share like another video with me? The same teacher that had said, like, like, what are you doing? Like, you do your thing and I'll do my thing. She was like, so can you share some more of those videos with me? And I was like, oh, so you like my presentation? And she said, Amanda, it was amazing. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. And yeah, so um, it opened up a different perspective about myself by being able to work through it and work through those limiting beliefs, but also still deliver what the teachers needed.
So Amanda, so with that experience with your dad having that clear message come through and seeing the computer with the dancing gorilla and knowing that you're connected with your dad, you described earlier that you were like a highly sensitive person. um how, now having that experience and knowing that you can communicate with the other side and connect with your dad, how has that, or has it changed like how you're sensitive to like energy in general or people in general?
Um, it's given me a sense of empathy. Um, it's allowed me to like relate with people who are going through really challenging emotions and um and a confidence in my ability to lead them and inspire them to try different healing modalities.
Mm.
Um yeah, it's also inspired me to want to write a book, which is in process right now. It's called I'm Still Here, which is the very first message that I heard him say. And it's it's going to be released in 2026 and possibly in March. That might be um yeah, I have some other things I need to add to it, but one of the stories from it that I feel like is one of the biggest things that people might want to hear, if they're listening and if they've lost a loved one, is something that I heard during the pandemic, where it was on his birthday and I had done some Kundalini yoga and I was about to do a ritual with his picture, and his voice came through me and he said, "You don't need that anymore. I'm inside of you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So like he was like telling me I needed to like rip it up and just get rid of it as like an act of belief, I guess, like an act of faith. And so I did that. I went outside and it was raining and I tried to burn it, but I couldn't because it was raining. So I ripped it up and I threw it in our compost pile. And I came back in and I was tapping on my points in the mirror and I was tapping on all the grief, the feelings of grief, and saying, even though I'm feeling all this grief, I choose to love, honor, and accept myself. And as I'm tapping and looking at myself, his voice came through me and he said, "When you're looking into your eyes, you're looking into my eyes, and I'm looking into your eyes." And that allowed me to release even more emotions. And then I was cooking breakfast and I felt like there was a whole army of like angels around me or something. There was something around me that was very uplifting. And all of the anxiety that I had had about what was going to happen, like, just those kinds of negative thoughts that had been running around. All the energy around that felt like it got sucked up, like as if somebody could vacuum up the energy that I'd been stewing in. And what descended upon me was this sense of deep peace
Mm.
and this energy of like just total and utter bliss and calm. And the message that I received was, "You are safe and all is well." And that's what I felt. Like I felt like I was safe and I felt like I was well. And I had remembered seeing a pod or not, it was a video marketing advertisement by one of my favorite life coaches, Martha Beck, that had been on Facebook, and she had entitled it "The Number One Message Your Angels Want You to Hear." And the number one message was this: you are safe and all is well. Like no matter what is going on in your life, like if it seems like, you know, your life is in shambles, like um you are safe and all is well.
Hang tight, guys. We'll be right back.
So, Amanda, it was during the pandemic that you actually expanded into doing grief coaching. You're talking about grief. Um, do you believe that grief can act as a spiritual initiation rather than something to like get over?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's one of the um, most paradoxical things that you could lose somebody and then reconnect with them. It's mind-bending, mind-boggling that what you see isn't what you get, all the time. Um, but yeah, I think it's an important concept for us as a species moving forward. I think it's going to become much more commonplace for people to talk about this subject um, and it's going to become a necessity because so many people are going to be transitioning over to spirit. And it's very comforting to know that you can still communicate with your loved
Mhm.
ones once they've passed, once you no longer see their flesh and blood and can't hug them anymore. You can still hear them and you can still receive messages from them. And you can help other people do the same. And um, you can have the most magical journey of connecting with other people who have done the same and really feel like you're not alone on so many levels.
Yeah, I have said, for myself personally, I lost my sister back in 22. And I've always said that I just have like a new and different relationship with her in spirit now. And she's always around, you know? And I think the biggest thing is just like when people see signs, butterflies, dragonflies,
Mhm.
cardinals, whatever it is, and they doubt a little bit sometimes, like because they have their person pop into their head, but they're like, is that them? Could it be? Is it not? Am I just making more into it than it really is? And it's kind of like just that same idea. It really just comes down to like trusting in it to allow yourself to kind of experience the magic of it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I think a lot of times people see signs or hear songs that come through at just the right time. And because it's not it's not like a common idea out there yet that, that they want us to connect with them or that they're still with us. Um, that can kind of reinforce those thoughts of, oh, that's not important. Like that's what that was just a coincidence or but yeah, it is so magical when they can communicate through nature or through other ways.
So, speaking of singing, I know you sing during Reiki sessions. And what does that feel like? Like, what does singing feel like when it's coming from a place that's kind of beyond the conscious mind?
It feels really tingly in my whole body.
I love tingles. The like full
Yeah.
body, I love tingles. I get the tingles like all over and I'm like, whoop, like, this is
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. It is. It's really exciting and it's like, oh my God, like I can't believe you feel chosen, for this. It's exciting and it's illuminating.
Is there an instance or like something that was really memorable that happened when you were singing? Like, do you recall it? Like sometimes I know after I do Reiki on someone, it's like my mind is just like everything is just very clear. Um, any like if there's a message that's been passed through, it's like the message wasn't for me, so like I don't hold on to it. Do you recall things that you sung and like do you have a specific like I don't know memory of like something that felt like really special to you in the moment?
Yeah, so one of my callings I feel like has been to help mothers. And that is something that I'm open to receiving more of is coaching clients who are moms, um, because that's an awakening journey in itself. And so I was working on somebody who recently lost both of her parents and is a mother of a young child, like 2 years old. And the song that came through was, "You are the one you've been waiting for. You 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 are beautiful. You are bountiful. You are blissful. You are powerful." And then the words were coming through, "We are the ones we've been waiting for." And it just felt very expansive. And she said that for the whole rest of the day, it was like replaying through her mind. Like not just the rest of the day, but like the rest of the week. Which is very powerful because, what we think can impact how we feel and vice versa. Um, and it helped her raise her whole vibration throughout the week, to have those songs going through the lyrics and the tune going through her mind and
I,
body.
I was gonna say you can sing to me anytime.
Oh, thank you.
Just like getting like teary. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like resonating. Whew. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
I love
sometimes
it.
it. Oh,
I
thank
did
you.
a session with Amanda, and your voice is so powerful.
Yeah.
And like I said, because I wrote you a testimonial, and it's kind of like you're just kind of like singing to our soul.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is yes. You can put that as you sing to people's souls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Use it.
Do you feel like
Thank
your
you.
singing opened up more as you released more like of the emotional blocks? Do you feel like that helped kind of guide things for you, I guess?
Oh, for
I don't know if
sure.
that's
Yeah, I did some work with Leo right before doing this podcast, and he helped me reconnect with my father again, and also connected me with Archangel Metatron and a different spiritual practice that I've been practicing now, the Violet Flame meditation.
Mhm.
Um, did that answer your question? Because sometimes,
Yeah. Well, no, I do. I mean, it's I guess that like when you start releasing some of the emotional blocks that like there's
right.
a little
Oh,
bit more
yeah,
clarity. Like there's a little bit
exactly.
more
Yes.
connection, right? Um, what do you think that tells us about like the voice and our truth and like the soul's expression?
Okay. Yeah. So if our heart is, so what I learned from my emotion code training is that we can have a wall around our heart. And it's a wall that we can put up because of all of the trauma that we've experienced. And it could be little trauma or big trauma. And the more we try not to feel the feelings, the thicker that wall gets. But it doesn't really protect us in the way um, that we would want it to. It protects us from feeling feelings deeply, but the ability to feel our feelings deeply allows gifts to come through, like clairsentience or
Mhm.
clairaudience. And so, um, well, I don't say that, medication or pharmaceuticals is not needed, because I think that both and in our world are necessary sometimes. But you can still have both, and you can still be somebody who lives with an open heart, from an open heart, um, and you can feel all the feelings, not at the same time. Wouldn't that be nice, right? um, but yeah, you do have to give yourself permission to feel like a mess, to become a mess, and to let your body rest and recalibrate. I do know there are coaches out there that will say, like, I'll change your life in 3 days, and we'll just like blow through all this stuff that's limiting you, keeping you back, or whatever. It's like, okay, it might take more than 3 days to like for
I was gonna
somebody to
say that
reset their
sounds
nervous system and like,
that sounds good
um,
in theory, but it's like, all right, you do it quick in 3 days, and like, what's the aftermath, right? Like, I when I think about something like that,
right.
like I think about like a tornado or a hurricane like bursting through, and then like, well, there's all the mess that you've got to clean up because you did it so quickly. That's kind of where my
Right,
mind
right.
goes with that.
Amanda, hearing you to
Yeah,
describe that, feeling the deep feelings and
Yeah.
allowing the gifts to come through, I feel like it's just kind of like they're almost the same channel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I
yes.
feel like the same channel that allows us or prevents us from feeling the deep feelings is the same channel where we can kind of express those gifts. But the channel has to be open to both, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Um, I know like our hearts are the biggest like electromagnetic field, but we have to um be able to process things with our brains, and then reintegrate between the two, and in a grounded way. Like that takes time and patience.
Amanda, so I know like you've worked through a lot over many years, and before kind of, I guess, some of these modalities coming into your life, how's it different now, maybe how you self-regulate yourself compared to before all these modalities available to you came in and working with the angels and all that stuff? How did it look different?
Well, now I practice meditation pretty much daily. And I used to see it as something nice to have. And now I kind of see it as like a gift, not just to myself, but for everybody, and a necessity. Um, I also like have so many tools that I can use to regulate myself, that sometimes it can be like, well, which one should I use? Like, which one should I go for a walk, go do yoga, dance? Should I like this or that? Sometimes that could have been overwhelming, and now I just start with something, and then depending on how much time I have, um, and there's so many different tools now. It's taking a deep breath or envisioning. Um, I think the biggest ones are taking a deep breath or sometimes I'll place one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly, and just to recenter myself, close my eyes and reconnect those two parts of my body. Because, yeah, does that answer your question?
It does, yeah.
So I'm curious about the feminine divine creativity. I had read somewhere about you were kind of talking about connecting with God's feminine creativity, and I'm curious about how you personally experience divine feminine and why that feels so important right now.
The way I experience divine feminine is through movement. Like, I usually start my day by going outside and um I actually have a song that I sing to remind myself who I am.
Sing it.
And that's, do you want to hear it? I am a co-creatress. I illuminate the world like the shining stars through the power of connecting with the divine feminine creativity. And I feel like it's important because for so long the feminine has been downgraded as a culture, as women have been blamed for so many lifetimes of what's wrong with the world. um, and there's a resurgence where and there needs to be more balance, and we need to have both, like the discipline of the divine masculine, but also the creative flow of the divine feminine. Both are very important and valuable. Um, and we need to see the oneness in all, because when we connect
Mhm.
with that place in ourselves, and are able to see that oneness in all, it'll help us to create a more peaceful existence for ourselves and our families and in our communities and the world at large.
We've had a lot of people who I think would agree with you on the divine feminine. I feel like that's come up a lot um, recently. A number of people that I think we've interviewed, right, Leo?
And even some men.
Yeah. Yes. It's like resounding. It's not just coming
Hmm. Yeah.
from our female guests.
But
It's
I think also, like, through this whole awakening process in the just kind of the global vibration that's raising, I
yeah.
feel like a big part of that is like that divine feminine sort of being unleashed, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's an important factor in order, I think, to kind of further awaken, to further raise your vibration, because it's connected to, I feel like, a lot of the inner work that's needed.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, exactly. Because that motherly energy is the most compassionate one, the all accepting. No matter what you're going through, your mom will always love you, no matter, usually. I mean, usually that's the hope, that at least one of your parents will give you that kind of sense of unconditional love and acceptance.
Mhm.
Because we all have the both, right? We all have the divine
Yeah.
feminine energy, and we all have divine masculine energy. And whether you're a woman or a man, um, as a human in this in this plane of existence, we all have to kind of balance those energies within ourselves and love ourselves completely in both ways, like by being disciplined at times and by being allowing at others.
So, Amanda, like at your journey where you are now in your life, what do you feel like is really important that you want to share with people?
That no matter what you're going through, um, just give yourself time and patience. And if you have lost a loved one, there's other people that have done it before you, and you can always reach out to them. Like, I know myself, I light up when I see people that want to work with me, especially who have gone through loss. And, there are people out there that want to help that can help you see and create a better future than you might see for yourself, and a more magical life. And it doesn't have to involve like a complete, you know, change in countries or, like a complete um shift. I know there's a lot of people experiencing like, what now? What am I supposed to be doing to feel better? But there are so many tools out there, and finding the right person for
Mm.
you could be the next place to start. Or, that can help ground you in knowing that there are like whole communities of people that are experiencing this and want to connect with you. And I would also say that the ones that you're longing for to connect with are out there, people just like you. And that be patient because it can take years. It can take years, but there are so many people out there that are looking for people just like you to kind of talk with, and just don't give up on that hope if that is your hope.
I know it takes a lot of getting out of your comfort zone to heal and
Mhm.
work through things. What could you say about getting out of your comfort zone that you've learned?
Um, that it's really part of growth. It's part of why we're here as humans, why we're here as souls in this human body is to learn to love ourselves and to learn to grow through the challenges that life presents us with. I believe that all of us chose to reincarnate at this particular time in our history, and I think a lot of people probably are, even if they're not aware of it, um, if you're going through a hard time, it might be because someday you'll help other people do the same thing, or it might be it it's not an easy road, but it's very rewarding and fulfilling if you can allow yourself to feel the feelings that need to be felt and you know, trust the process
Mm.
and have fun with it a little bit. Like allow yourself to dance even if you don't feel like it.
I wanted to make sure that I asked about this because I was like, I read it in the information that you gave us, master number 33. I was like, I need to make sure that I ask about this because I'm so curious about it. I want to know more about master number 33, but I also am curious about how has numerology helped you make sense of your soul's purpose? Because I don't know a ton about numerology, so I was like, I have to ask about this one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a question that I don't get. So Master 33 is something that I learned about in my awakening. And at first, I visited a psychic who told me you're a 33 or a Master 33. That means that my soul chose to experience life's challenges before like it signed up for a challenging life course in order to be a teacher and a healer, of how to rise up um, and transform the challenges and reap the gifts from them. Um, and it was in around 2016 that I learned what that was. And then like about a half year later, I realized that one of the schools that I was going to was literally the address was 33 or had 33 in it. And when I went to visit one of my longest time therapist, her road is 33 Canoma Point Road in Essex. I was like, that's interesting. All of a sudden, like during that period of awakening, I was like telling my husband when we were driving along, oh my God, do you see that 44 or 33? Like my eyes were just like tuning into the numbers big time, like any number combinations. It was like that's what my vision was drawing me to. And I was like, that's amazing. Like, look at this. It just gave me a whole different viewpoint. And I was like, well, that kind of makes sense from a logical standpoint. Like that, look, I am an OT. Like I started out as a dance major and that didn't really work out, you know, um, and it wasn't meant to. Like it wasn't, um, when I think about all the things that I've learned, it makes sense that I would use those skills to help other people. And that, my father being a Pisces and myself being a Pisces, it's like it's one of the most sensitive emotional signs in the zodiac, if you're into astrology. And it's basically a combination of the numbers, your date of birth. So my date of birth is 3/5/1978. And when I add up all those numbers, it comes out to 33 and a life path of 6. And like the first person that I read about it more with was this woman named Elizabeth Peru, who's she does this like she has a spiritual business, I'll say that. And she's if you look her up on YouTube, she has a ton of YouTube videos and she helps people navigate the world, knowing what the energy is going to be like, what the energy patterns are going to be because of what's going on in our universe. And she was one of the first people that said, numerology is actually just as, if not more important than astrology in understanding yourself.
It's 12:12 right now, by the way.
Wow. Interesting. And that adds up to 33. Yeah. I mean, there's
Ding
some
ding.
very famous people that have been master 33s. I believe Einstein was a master 33. I know what's that woman that's the big law of attraction person? She's a master 33.
Oh,
Rhonda Burns?
No,
No.
bigger.
I can't believe I can't think of
Yeah,
this.
I can't think of it.
Yeah,
It's okay,
it'll
but
come
there's a
after.
lot of But Britney Spears is a master 33 too. Because I've looked it up and like, who else is like a master 33?
That's cool.
Um, yeah, and I've looked on Facebook trying to find like, but it's not like a comment, it's not
Mm,
mainstream. Numerology is not mainstream at all.
yeah.
So it's not a thing, it's not a group yet. Probably because so many of us, it takes like us into our 50s to like really get a handle on how to live life in a way that is like you have it all together. Like,
Well, and it might
um,
require being older souls with many experiences too,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah, yes, yeah,
So
Um,
for sure.
I was going to say, you're occupational therapy and physical therapy. You're
Oh,
a yoga
wow.
instructor. I'm a yoga instructor. And I've got kiddos, and I think kids are just, they're so fascinating. I think that they can teach us so much. Working with children, what do you feel like they've taught you about presence and intuition and the soul's wisdom?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, I think
Because I
that
feel like
kids have
kids are
taught
just, yeah, yeah. It's like,
kids are amazing for teaching what we all need, which is presence. We all need presence at some point. We need the presence of somebody who's like a mentor or um, a guide at some point. And we need an unconditional acceptance of and an elevated under somebody who has an elevated understanding that can see beyond, like that can see your potential, because they've maybe experienced something themselves similar to what you've experienced, the I can't do that, or the, those feelings of I can't, I would. um so you asked about presence and the
intuition and
intuition. Yeah,
the soul's wisdom.
they've taught me that. I mean, their kids are like, kids do that. Kids naturally are tuned into their own body's wisdom. They are some of the biggest teachers. Um, and that's one of the things that I love about being an OT. And sometimes parents can have their own like ways of thinking a therapy session should go. Or that, when kids are, doing some things that might not be according to their own plan, that like, say jumping on the furniture um, or wanting to go jump in a puddle or something, that sometimes the kids are, instead of looking at it as something that needs to be fixed, um, if you can see it as something that we need to learn from them, once in a while, and just do it with them. Like, it's so much fun, like to jump in
be
a
in the
puddle
moment, right?
sometimes, or yeah, like be in the moment, like have fun, connect with your own inner child. Their kids offer us an opportunity to be in the joy, be in the moment, um, because they naturally do that. They're not worried about finances or the state of the world. Usually, I mean, if if they've been sheltered, if they've um yeah, so
Kind of like
they
first thing this morning, my daughter woke me up. She said, "Let's have a pillow fight." And I was like, "Oh." Well, we proceeded to have a pillow fight, and it was hilarious.
that's awesome. I love
It was
that.
great.
How old are your kids?
13, 11, and 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a big undertaking, and a lot, you have so much to learn from them. So many
Oh, yeah.
opportunities.
Oh, yeah. It never stops.
I feel like I've learned the biggest thing I've learned from my son is like the importance of taking care of myself so that I could take care of him,
Yep.
and like remembering like how important it is to find my own joy, um, with him and without him. But
Yeah. No, they're constantly reminding me, like, slow down, take a break, focus on what's going on right now. Yeah. I mean, kids just have a way of, if you just stop and listen to them, it's I think one of my big pet peeves is like, you're just a kid. And I'm like, they have so much to teach us. And
it's
I'm
so
still a
true.
really big kid sometimes. So
Yeah, good. Thank God for that.
like, my years, my numbers might get larger, but sometimes I still act like I'm four, especially with
Good.
animals. I see an animal and I turn into a 4-year-old. I'm like, it's an animal.
I know. That's awesome.
Amanda, thanks for joining us today. This was a pleasure, and I can speak for myself, and Julia probably agrees. We love your voice.
Yes.
Thank you.
One more
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Amanda, for someone who's longing to reconnect with a loved one in spirit, or with their own soul, what would you say would be the first gentle step that you would give them to take?
I would say, Annette, like think back to when you were a small child and maybe place your hand on your heart and close your eyes and envision yourself maybe around the age of 4 and breathe into your heart space and see if your inner child has any wisdom for you or any advice, or like what were the things that you enjoyed doing when you were that age, and then do them. Give yourself
I was going to
permission to
say,
do them, because
and then
Yeah.
do it.
and do them in a way that's messy, that where you can like really be messy with those things and not do it for performance sake, but do it for the pure joy of doing it.
Yeah.
um because I know for me that was like getting back into ecstatic dancing. But for everybody, it's going to be something different because we all have um, different things that light us up.
Before we go, Amanda, tell people just briefly a few of the services that you offer, and then how can people best reach you, and then we'll put all this information in the show notes too.
Sure. So some of the services that I offer are um, life life coaching, for moms especially. I also offer energy work through with the combination of emotion code, Reiki, and channeled songs. And I offer occupational therapy through choral care. And you can reach out to me at alignwithamanda33@gmail.com or amanda.holisticot@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys, and we will see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all those wonderful good things.
All the above.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Amanda.
Bye. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for listening to Mystery of the Soul. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you have a question, topic suggestion, or just want to say hi, we'd love to hear from you. You can visit our website at mysteryofthesoul.com. Reach us on Instagram, email us at mysteryofthesoulpodcast@gmail.com, and if you're interested in booking a session with Leo, visit his website at leojmccarthy.com.